The serval can leap 12 feet straight up to kill a bird mid-flight, and someone decided to breed that into a house cat. The first time I saw a picture of this amazing cross between a wild and a domestic cat, I fell in love, but the $50,000 price tag made it an impossible dream. Years later, and 4 generations past the wild cat, I was able to purchase my Savannah kitten, Raina, at an amazing sale price of around $1,000. Raina means queen, and she knows it. Savannahs are one of the most extraordinary domestic cat breeds on the planet. We are talking history, appearance, behavior, health, the legal stuff nobody warns you about, and ultimately, why thousands of people around the world have decided that living with a miniature cheetah is absolutely worth every single challenge that comes with it. Stay with me because this gets genuinely fascinating. So let us start at the very beginning. The Savannah cat exists because of a collision between 2 worlds that were never supposed to meet. The domestic cat and the serval, a wild African feline, crossed paths in a way that changed the cat fancy world forever. The serval is native to sub-Saharan Africa and is one of nature's most efficient hunters. Standing roughly 20 inches tall at the shoulder with those massive satellite dish ears and a lean spotted body built for explosive speed, the serval can leap 12 feet straight up into the air to snatch birds mid-flight. It is an extraordinary animal. Domestic cats and servals are genetically different, and their gestation periods differ by 10 days, so they are difficult to breed together. Many kittens do not survive, but there have been some successes. The first documented Savannah kitten was born on April 7, 1986. A Bengal cat breeder named Judy Frank had allowed her domestic cat to mate with a male serval owned by Frank Sroufe. That first kitten, a female, was named Savannah. A cat enthusiast named Patrick Kelly heard about this kitten and became obsessed with the idea of creating an entirely new breed. He partnered with breeder Joyce Sroufe, and together they wrote the original breed standard and began the long process of getting the Savannah recognized by the International Cat Association. That formal recognition finally arrived in 2001, making the Savannah one of the newer officially recognized breeds in the cat world. Now here is where it gets technical, and I promise this matters for understanding everything else about the breed. Savannah cats are classified by generation using a filial number, which you will see written as F1, F2, F3, F4, and so on. An F1 Savannah is the direct offspring of a serval parent and a domestic cat. That animal is 50% wild serval. An F2 has a serval grandparent, making it roughly 25% serval. By the time you reach an F4 or F5, you are dealing with a cat that has a much more distant wild ancestor, but still carries those stunning physical traits and that larger-than-life personality. Male Savannahs are infertile until they reach F4 or F5. This distinction matters enormously for 3 reasons. First, price. An F1 Savannah cat can cost anywhere from $10,000 to over $50,000. An F4 or F5 might run you $2,000 to $4,000. Second, temperament and behavior shift significantly across generations, with lower generation cats behaving more like wild animals, and higher generation cats being more manageable as pets. Third, and this is critically important, legality. F1 and F2 Savannahs are banned or heavily restricted in numerous states, countries, and cities worldwide. Before you even think about getting one of these cats, you absolutely must research your local laws, because the consequences of getting that wrong can be devastating for both you and the animal. My cat Raina is an F4 Savannah. She is a domestic cat with the look of a wild cat, but the temperament of any ordinary house cat you may meet. This cat's appearance alone is enough to amaze you. Savannahs are tall, lean, and long. They are often compared to a miniature cheetah or a dog-sized cat. Their legs are remarkably long relative to their body size, giving them an almost deer-like elegance when they move. Their necks are long, their heads are small relative to their body, and those ears are enormous and sit high on the head in a way that immediately signals something wild and different. The coat features bold black or dark brown spots set against a background of gold, silver, smoke, or black. There are also darker lines running from the inner corners of the eyes down the sides of the nose, known as tear duct lines or cheetah lines, which reinforce that wild big cat aesthetic. Their eyes are slightly hooded and can be green, gold, brown, or a blend of these shades. An F1 or F2 cat resembles a wild cat. Even Reina is a large cat with impressive wild-looking markings. Adult males can weigh between 13 and 25 pounds depending on the generation, and females are typically smaller. The higher the filial number, the closer to a standard domestic cat in terms of size, though savannas across all generations tend to be larger than average house cats. When it comes to behavior, this is where potential owners either fall completely in love or realize this breed is absolutely not for them. The internet describes savanna cats as dog-like in the most literal possible sense. They follow their owners from room to room. They learn their names and come when called. Many can be leash-trained and will happily go for walks outside. They play fetch with genuine enthusiasm and can sustain that game longer than many dogs. They are intensely loyal and often bond deeply with one or two people in a household, while remaining cautious or even standoffish with strangers. Reina has never read the internet. She is lazy, happy to lie in the sun, demands petting and cat treats, and greets strangers like old friends. Some savannas are obsessed with water. Not afraid of it, not indifferent to it, genuinely fascinated. They will dip their paws in water bowls, splash in sinks, and some will literally climb into showers or bathtubs with their owners. I once had a cat like this, who loved to splash all the water out of her drinking bowl, but not Reina. She is typically cat-like in her dislike for getting wet. F1 and F2 savannas are vocal in unusual ways. They do not always produce a standard meow. Many savannas chirp, chatter, and make a sound called a hiss-like cough that is inherited from the serval. That sound, often described as a chirp-hiss combination, can be alarming if you have never heard it before, but it is completely normal communication for these animals. Later F numbers, like Reina, have perfectly typical cat meows. Reina's meow says hello and feed me. The internet claims that their intelligence level is extremely high, creating both joy and chaos. I've read that savanna cats can open doors, unlatch cabinets, figure out puzzle feeders rapidly, and problem-solve way above what you would expect from other cats, and that bored savannas will find their own entertainment, and that entertainment usually involves something you own and value. Reina's favorite activity when she's bored is to climb up on a shelf and push off something breakable. She also likes to take a swat at her dog friend and start a wrestle. On the health side, savanna cats are generally healthy, but there are specific concerns. Some veterinarians have noted that savannas may be sensitive to certain modified live vaccines, though this remains a topic of ongoing discussion in the veterinary community. Finding a vet experienced with exotic or hybrid cats is important. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, the heart condition that plagues many cat breeds, can appear in savannas, so cardiac screening is worth discussing with your vet. Their digestive systems can sometimes be sensitive, and high-quality protein-rich diets are generally recommended. Many breeders advocate for raw or minimally processed diets. The first year I had Reina, she could only eat raw chicken, bones included, but her stomach problems have resolved, and now she does well on a high-quality dry food, with occasional canned food for a treat. Savannas can live between 12 and 20 years, which means this is a very long-term commitment. They are not beginner cats. They need large spaces, environmental enrichment, interactive play sessions, and, ideally, a companion animal or an owner who can genuinely invest time in them daily. So why do people choose this breed despite all of the complexity, cost, and commitment? Living with a savanna cat is unlike any other pet ownership experience. These animals form bonds that feel reciprocal in a way that most cats simply do not. They greet you at the door. They notice when you are upset. They engage with you rather than merely tolerating your presence. They are visually breathtaking in a way that never quite becomes ordinary. Guests comment on my large, impressive, wild-looking cat. There is also something genuinely thrilling about sharing your home with an animal that carries authentic wildness in its DNA. Not dangerous wildness, not unmanageable wildness, but a spark of something older and freer than 1,000 generations of domestic cats. When a savanna sits in a patch of afternoon sunlight with those spots gleaming and those ears swiveling independently like radar dishes scanning the horizon, you understand exactly why someone looked at a serval and a domestic cat and thought these two worlds should absolutely collide. If you have the space, the budget, the time, and the willingness to accept the challenge of this extraordinary animal, the savanna cat will give you something no other pet can. A relationship that feels genuinely mutual, genuinely wild, and genuinely unforgettable every single day. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe so you will be notified every time I post new videos. Your participation really matters to me.